Judges chapter 5 was part of our Bible reading today. And in Judges 5, we have the Song of Deborah. Now, Deborah is the leader of Israel that we read about in the previous chapter. And here we get to hear some of her own reflections on the events that happen in chapter 4. And in verses 6 and 7 of chapter 5, we read this. In the days of Shamgar, son of Anath, in the days of Jael, the highways were abandoned. Travelers took to winding paths. Villagers in Israel would not fight. They held back. Deborah's painting this picture of Israel being in a state whereby the people are living sort of a fearful, almost lifeless existence under the thumb of the king of Canaan, and no one having the courage to do anything about it. But then, listen how these verses end. The highways were abandoned. Travelers took to winding paths. Villagers in Israel would not fight. They held back until I, Deborah, arose. Until I arose, a mother in Israel. And then her song goes on to describe the victory that Israel experienced. See, it turns out the people were willing to fight. They were willing to do something about their desperate situation. They just needed someone to be brave enough to lead the way. And as I read that portion of the text, I was reminded that, sometimes there are situations in life where for something to get accomplished, or maybe for some change to occur, or maybe for some, even some more godly way of living to be adopted by a group of people, sometimes it takes one person stepping out and leading the way before those around jump in and contribute to that accomplishment, or help bring about that change, or embrace that better way of living. It can be the case that lots of people are feeling the same thing and thinking the same way. They could be on the same page internally. They just lack the courage to step out and do the right thing. And sometimes, to reach the tipping point, it just takes one person, brave enough to do what they know is right, to just give that extra shot of encouragement for others to join in. And before you know it, that one person's brave action can start a movement, be it big or small. Maybe you're finding yourself in that kind of position in life right now. You've wondered about maybe taking on a particular issue in society that you think, someone's got to do something about that. Maybe, there's a different, sort of more God-honoring way that you've wondered about how to do life, and you're thinking, I wonder if anyone else has tried that before and how it's worked out. You might be one of those many people who are wondering the same thing as others, and you're just looking for someone to make the first move, and then you join in. My encouragement to you today would simply be this. Have you ever thought about being the Deborah in that situation? Have you ever considered that maybe your willingness to take the lead, to set the example, to go out on a limb, that could be the very thing that gives courage to others around you to do the same thing? Maybe God wants you not to be the follower. Maybe God wants you to be the catalyst for something He wants to see happen in our world. What an exciting thing that would be. Sometimes, all it takes is for one person to be brave enough to lead the way, and many more will follow. Maybe today, you can be that one person.